About to start the Google EduTips show in about 2 minutes, but we wanted to give everyone a chance to get in. So we are just going to be preparing and sitting here until around 5 o'clock, which is like a minute away. So thank you for joining us.
Hi.
I didn't even think. Is my kitchen thing? Looks like it's not. Yeah, of course. Okay, so it's 5 o'clock, and welcome to the Google EduTips show that we're putting on here at EdTechTeam. So I wanted to share a couple things with you, how to stay engaged in the show. And so let me present this to everyone. So this is our very first broadcast, and of course, if I'm doing any kind of show, my first broadcast has to be with my EduSlam co-host, Tanya Avrith. There's no one else I would rather have. And her first broadcast and our first broadcast tonight is going to be about the Remind classroom, because we both think that's a really great tool for classrooms. And so since school is starting for some of you and about to start, this is something to remember, to remind yourself to use in the classroom this year. So I also want to tell you about some of our other shows that are coming up. And so our next one, and hopefully that's showing on the screen, yeah. Our next one is going to be next week, but wait, before we talk about that, if you'd like to join us on todaysmeet.com/EdTechTeam, I'll be monitoring that if you have any questions for Tanya, our Remind expert. And we both have used it in our classrooms, so we can give examples if you have questions. And you can follow this and us. I'm Holly Clark, EDU. I can't use the banner tonight because my internet's too slow. And she's at Tanya Avrith, and then of course at EdTechTeam. So please follow along with us there. If you want to know about upcoming shows, it's really easy. You can just go to bit.ly. Sorry that got messed up, but at EduTips shows, and it will have our upcoming shows. And we'll have another one next week, I believe from the US. I'm going to be in Australia, but I hope that one's from the US. And finally, if you like what you see, remember we offer custom PD and workshops, and you can go and find out more about that at edtechteam.com/request. So I'm going to go back and introduce Tanya. Tanya, you can take it away with our Remind. I'm really excited to hear about Remind tonight.
Well, I'm really excited to be speaking about Remind. So first of all, I want to just let everyone know that Remind is completely free. And if you haven't used it before, it is probably one of the easiest tools on the planet with probably some of the greatest impact for communication between home and school. So I'm going to show you a little bit about Remind and share my screen and talk a little bit about how you can get started and some of the things that you can do with Remind. So I'm going to take it away, just share my screen. So do you see my screen?
Yep.
So I wanted to share a few things about Remind. So if you haven't heard of it, you go to remind.com. So first of all, you have to think for a moment that for the most part, a lot of our students and for the most part, a lot of our parents, well, students for one, where they are is on their cell phones. And without a question, you know, the stats show that 97% of American students use text messages, and 92% of American youth say texting is their favorite activity. And if you're a teacher, I don't have to give you any of these statistics because your students are texting all the time, probably when you don't even want them to be. And for the most part, our parents, that's where they are. We are meeting them where they are. They are on their phones. So why not harness the ability to be able to message our students on their phones? And that's essentially what Remind allows you to do. It allows you to have a class code, and I'll show and demonstrate what that looks like in a moment, that you basically give the students your class code and they text in at 81010 with your class code that you create. and boom, they are signed up for your class, and you can send them reminders on their phone, or there's an app that you can use to send reminders as well, which is awesome. So when you think about the ability to have such small impact, well, actually such small amounts of, I guess, interaction, but have such huge impact, it's pretty amazing. And this is from Stanford research about the ability that texting parents has on education. And they saw that there was 40% increased parent engagement at home, 25% increased parent engagement at school, and 15% increased student literacy. And this came from a Stanford research, the One Step at a Time, the effects of early literacy text messaging program for parents of preschoolers. So just if you look at that, and that's just with preschoolers working with parents, it's pretty amazing the level of engagement that you have just with something so small. So what is Reminds? Remind essentially is a web app, but it's also an app on your phone that you can get on Android or on an iOS that you sign up, and it allows you really simply to connect with your parents over their phones. So it's a really straightforward app. It's not uber complicated. There's not too many features, which makes it awesome and why it's probably so popular. And it essentially, very straightforward, allows you to connect very easily. And I'm going to show you how easy that is.
So Tanya,
yeah.
You said connecting with parents. Are you talking about like sending them what we did in class today? So ask your student about this rather than saying, what did you do in school today? You could text to them something and they could say, hey, I heard you learned about giraffes. Can you tell me
Yeah, so there's many different ways you can use Remind, okay? If your students are over 13, you can directly get your students to connect with you using the app. If they're under 13, you can connect with your students, but you would need to sign up through their parents. So you can use it with students under 13, but you have to sign up. So if you think about it, there's all these different people that you can use it with. It's pretty amazing. With students, I love the idea of using it because you could basically use it in so many ways. One, it could just be send reminders that they have something due coming up. I mean, that's great, but there's so much more.
Yeah.
I love the idea of before class, getting them excited, sending them a clue or a picture, or maybe gamifying your class with little clues that they have to go through and they find throughout the day that are engaging, as they move forward in their lesson.
What if you app smash, like you get a Canva, like a clue about a lesson coming up and they had to figure that out? Or that would be so cool to do something like that.
We can even send a Google Doc or a Google Slide. It could be something that's interactive. If they have smartphones, then you can really make it a lot more interactive.
Ooh.
So, I mean, anything that you can link, you can send. There's even the ability through the app to send voice comments. So it's kind of like, it's almost like Voxer inside of Remind, which is great. So you can send even with your class, voice memos. So there's all these different things that you can use it for, and there's a lot of different creative ways that people have used it. Actually, I can share a few of those ideas with you, some of the top 10 ways of using Remind.
Ooh, I'd love it.
Okay, let me show you.
I'm obsessed with Remind.
So I'm going to show you the top 10 ways to use Remind. And I wish I made these up, but I didn't. These came from the Remind site. They have such amazing resources. So first of all, I love this idea of scheduling and sending reminders about meeting times, locations for classes, clubs, meeting sports. Quite frankly, I love this. I even use it in Florida to help organize for all of our ed camps. So in Remind, we use it to organize for ed camps as ed camp organizers. So that's one of my favorite ways.
So I did that too, Tanya, when I was vice principal and I had a meeting, or when I was the director of innovation and I had a meeting and I knew people were habitually late. I just sent a remind to the staff being like, meeting at 3:30, because I know some people are like, oh, meeting at 3:30. So it worked well as an administrator too.
Oh my gosh, there are so many ways that administrators can use it. I've heard of administrators using it for professional development. so they give little challenges.
Love it.
For remind, and so little remind PD challenges as an administrator, that like little things that unite their staff throughout the week. Oh no, it's awesome. So they can use
picture and then send it like, this is the great things that are happening in classrooms. I'm sorry, we're like only on number 1, but I'm like, whoa, there's so much you could do.
and it's so easy to sign up. That's what's so great about it. So you can use attach to send permission slips, classroom documents. So yeah, yeah. I mean, I know a lot of teachers that use it because they're trying to get their, you know, they send home reminders to tell parents like, don't forget, bring money tomorrow for like little things. As a mom of someone who has their kids in schools that use it, it saves my life, because I'm that mom that gets 100 emails and I'm on my phone and I get a reminder, and it's so helpful.
So no more, Mom, I need cupcakes tomorrow.
No, you get your reminder from the school. It's awesome. They can attach photos during class events. I love that, because I often have no idea what's going on unless I get a reminder, because my daughter tells me, I don't know what I did today, Ma. I don't want to talk about it.
I love this.
So schedule ahead assignments. The nice thing with Remind is you can actually set your schedule up beforehand, so you can schedule out reminders before you need to. So if you want at the beginning of the week, if there's certain key dates, you can schedule those out. You don't have to do them manually every day. So that's pretty amazing. And I'm gonna actually in a moment show how easy it is to sign up and set up a class, and I'm gonna walk you through it. So I'll do that in a moment. You can send students trivia and warm-up questions before class.
Tucker does that. That's good.
Yeah.
Love it. Send
students links to outside resources, articles, videos. So if you're thinking of like, you know, having
forget. Remember when the bell rings and you totally forget, like, oh my God, I forgot to give them this. Now you can send it.
Oh, and it's easy. Just right to their phones, right on the app. Send students messages of encouragement. I love that so much. Yeah. Daily homework assignments, professional development tips and resources, and parents' topics of what students are learning in class. So just small little things that you can do, but have a lot of impact. So I'm actually going to take you very quickly through how easy it is to sign up. So this is remind.com, and all you need to do is, well, I'm going to go, well, you would just go teacher sign up. Okay, and you can literally 1, 2, 3 sign up with your Google account. So I've already done that. So I'm just going to go into sign in. So I'm going to sign in, and in this case, all I do is I sign in with my Google account, and there I am. So I have different classes that I own and classes that I've joined, and this is the web, the web app part of it. And so it's pretty straightforward. And I'm actually going to start a class. So I'm going to create a class. So I'd give it a name. So we're going to call it EduTanya. And, and I'm going to have EduTan as my class code. I'm going to click off. Anyone in this class can start a chat. So chat's pretty great. It basically allows the teacher to start, instead of just sending reminders to all your class, now what you can do with chat is send individual, you can start and you have the control as the teacher if you want to turn it on or off, but basically you can control now having like sending almost like a direct message to one of your students, but in a safe environment, because it's not coming from your telephone number, it's coming from Remind. So I'm going to create my class. And so this is what happens when I create it. You'd get your class code that you would text you, and then in the message, they would text that message. And when they would do that, they would basically be signed up to your class. It's as simple as that. Literally, it took like 15 seconds to do it. And then now I'm in my class and I can type announcements. I could attach files. I can schedule them.
You can send it to different classes, so like one class gets one thing.
That's right. I can have my different classes. I can send to all my classes in one shot. It's really, really straightforward. I mean, it's really as simple as that. I mean, that's what people love about it so much, is that it is so easy to use and it's not overcomplicated. I could put links in my attachments. And on the other end, when I receive it, so I'll go in, cancel. I'll go into a class. So this isn't, I'm part of the Remind Connected Educators, which I'll talk about in a second, but I'm in their class right now. So when you're in a class, this is what it looks like and what it comes out as. And so I could have my students basically, you know, star, they can let me know that they've gotten it, you know, so here they can star it, they can give me a check that they got it. I can also use like this in different ways to ask questions. I mean, this could be like a clicker in class, like, did you understand today's concept? Yes, no, just got a quick kind of understanding if they got it or not, if they have a question about it. So you can get some feedback from your students as well.
Okay.
So it's really a very straightforward application to use. And I'm gonna talk very briefly right now about how you can use how you can better become connected in the Remind community. So hold on, I'm gonna just share my screen for a second, because I just wanna say something about Remind community. So I've had the privilege, I no longer work with Remind currently, but I worked with Remind for about 3 months as the Florida community growth manager. And so I don't anymore. So this comes from a place of genuine like love for the company, because they're one of the most amazing companies I've ever worked for. And they really genuinely want to build community with their users. They care so much. Brett, the owner, the CEO of the company, genuinely is on a mission. He's so mission driven because he really believes that connecting and helping better communicate and connect his teachers, teachers to parents and parents to administrators, he believes that those small things can really help change the way that we are able to help our students. And it's so mission driven. Like, the whole place is magical when you go visit their head office in San Francisco. So I really believe in what they're doing. And so they have these Remind Connected Educators, basically like this community that they started over the summer. And it's a really amazing, it's not an elitist community. Anyone can pretty much join. And there's this great sense of collaboration and connection that's happening within the community. So I want to just share with you how you can join and you know, show you sort of where some of our connected educators are. So I'm going to just open back my screen and I'm going to just show you where to go. So basically all you need to do is go to remind.com/connected-educator. So if you just Google Remind and Connected Educator, you can get to the application, and it's really straightforward. You just basically, they want to just know that you use the product and you apply to be an RCE, and it's very straightforward. And it's run by Jordan Pedraza, who's amazing. And there's a Facebook community that people collaborate, and you can see it's really active.
Do they give ideas of like great stuff?
Oh my God, totally. And it's not just them, it's the people in the community that are sharing these amazing ideas and things that students are doing with the products. And you get all these great ideas. And people just there are really interested in helping each other out and sharing like a lot. It's, as you can see, it's a really active community. So it's really definitely worthwhile joining. Yeah, so and if you have a look at how many, they have a lot of people that have joined, and you can see, yeah, it's pretty amazing.
I don't see any people in Australia. What's up?
I don't know. We got to get more people in Australia. I don't know if it's available in Australia. Oh, that's a good question. It's very popular. Remind is
going to Australia. I'll tell everyone.
I think it's like, it was like the number 3 education app, the iOS app, last week when school started on the Apple Store. So it's really a popular. It has like, I think if I'm not mistaken, like 25 million users. So it's really a popular application, and it's. Yeah, and it's really easy to use. So there's my EduTip, and I encourage, you know, people to sign up if they're not currently signed up. If you are currently signed up, sign up a friend and get, you know, let's continue Brett's mission, because I really believe that it's a great one, that we need to be better connected between home and school.
And we know that students, like I used to send my students an email. No one ever read it. Parents never read the emails. They'd be like, oh, I didn't get that. And so it's, where is everyone at? Everyone's on their text messages. So this is like, for me, a major help for the school year, and why I wanted to do this show first, because everyone needs to get on Remind. And just like, when you do something creative, share it out with everyone, because I am mind blown by Remind.
Well, as Remind says, it's the small things that you do. Teach small. So, right? You know, it's the small things that you do. So let's continue to teach small and get connected. Also, if you live in California, connect with Lisa Debs, because Lisa Debs can help you out, and she's currently helping out with Remind.
At Teaching with Soul.
At Teach with Soul.
Teach with Soul. Okay.
Yeah, at Teach with Soul. All right, well, thank you so much. I'm so honored to be your #1 guest. I hope to be back again, that's for sure.
Be back when we start up EduSlam again. So,
yeah.
Okay, thank you, Tanya. And everyone, use Remind and have a great school year. I'm super jealous. I wish I were in the classroom this year.
Me too. Bye.